What's up, everybody? It's your boy Stephen J, and I'm here with Simply Steve, and we're back talking about wrestling. WWE, WWF, WCW, AWA, UWF, and maybe a little bit of TNA. So we're gonna get right into it. The big news, well, we were on vacation. I had to go home for Delaware. We was up there for about a week. Ordination service, yada yada yada. We was gonna do thinking about, but he was thinking about quitting because I kept saying something about being fat or something like that. So he was like so sensitive, like thinking about quitting the show. You can't keep calling me that. So I was just like, quit then. I don't care. I don't need you. And right after that, his brother was like, I'll do it, Dad. I'll do it. But I was like, no, don't sound like Stephen J and Simply Steve. And plus, I didn't come up with a name for him, so he ain't got no time for that. So the big news in wrestling, still is the big news in wrestling, is the WWE released Alberto Del Rio. He was one of my favorite wrestlers. I loved his style, how he wrestled. I loved his swag, and I loved his character. So the reports are is that, you know, WWE hasn't officially come out and said why he was released, but according to Bleacher Report and a lot of the wrestling websites, he slapped a social media reporter. Apparently the reporter made some type of racial joke. One website was like, I think the guy left some type of trash or whatever somewhere, and he was like, you gonna pick that up or whatever, and he was like, that ain't my job, that's Del Rio's job or whatever. So Del Rio confronted him about it and slapped him in the face. He made a racial joke, and Del Rio reacted and slapped him. First of all, Del Rio was wrong for slapping the guy, but at the same time, two wrongs don't make it right. Two wrongs don't make it right. So I don't know if this guy who was the social media guy or whatever, I'm thinking he's not, for the simple fact that WWE is looking possibly at a lawsuit because one of their wrestlers slapped the guy. So that could be, but WWE never said anything. They just said unprofessionalism. Plus, you know, there's a lot of reports that Del Rio wasn't happy and he caused trouble back scene or whatever. I'll put it like this.
I had already heard that he was thinking about leaving when his contract was up anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly, like somewhat similar to CM Punk, because he said he wasn't happy where his character was going, and basically since he lost the world title to John Cena, he hasn't been much.
He's become a mid-card is basically what has happened. He's become a mid-card. Here's my thing. Yeah, they said he wasn't happy, but they said that he was possibly thinking about leaving. Let's see, probably around in January is when I first read that he was thinking about leaving. But as far as which wrestler doesn't cause problems in the back, as far as I don't like the way my character is being portrayed, I don't like the way you're doing with me or whatever. And clearly ever since he lost to John Cena, I mean, I put it like this, let me just backtrack. When Alberto first came into WWE, yo, he was on fire. I loved his character, the rich Mexican, his feud with Rey Mysterio, and his feuds with CM Punk. Did he feud with Jericho? Was it Jericho? He feuded with
Edge for a little while.
Feuded with Edge, but anyway, you know, he won the title a few times. And when he won the title, man, he was good. Pushed the cup, don't let it fall off the table. His character got changed into a face where they just had him. See. I didn't like him as a face. He's always, once a guy's a bad guy, I mean, unless you go the route of Stone Cold, unless you go the route of Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, in that aspect, then, you know. But I like Del Rio. I think he got fired for the simple fact that possibly there was going to be a lawsuit. If the guy didn't work for the company. If the guy didn't work for the company, yeah, that was a lawsuit going to happen. If he did, then it's something that you just take to HR. So I did see that TNA already reached out to Alberto Del Rio. So we'll see possibly him coming on TNA real soon.
Well, he's got a.
He has a no.
He has a no.
He's got a non-complete cause, but I think that's waived because
it's like 90 days.
It doesn't apply because he was fired.
But
I don't think it applies because he was fired. It's not like his contract. It's not like CM Punk where his contract expired and he didn't renew, and you got 90 days. You can't compete any other. It's not like WCW or whatever, because they learned that lesson when who did it? Jeff Jarrett did it. He left Raw on Sunday, came on Nitro on Monday. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, did they do it? I don't know. I can't remember if they did it or they had to wait. I think they had to wait. I know Bret Hart did it because after he lost, he was on Raw, WCW Nitro the next day. I know Medusa, Alundra Blaze, she did it. But I heard he's in talk with TNA, and I mean he could talk to him or what. But the problem is TNA lost their contract to Spike TV.
Yeah.
So. And that runs out in about 2 months. So, I mean, it'll be good if they can get Del Rio because that'll get more people. Matter of fact, they just had a match where Bubba Ray finally put Dixie Carter through the table. So I guess we're going to talk about that a little bit. But he finally put Dixie Carter through a table, but it wasn't in Orlando because the Orlando fans, they're not any TNA fans. I'm sorry, but I think they were like in New York or looked like Philly, but I think it was really New York ballroom, what the old WWE used to be in when they did Raw from New York a while ago, years ago. So again, I don't like the release. I think he could have been suspended, fined for doing something like that, considering the circumstances. If the guy was drunk and he came up, cracked the guy in the face, okay, fire him. But in a situation where the guy clearly spoke something racial towards him and he reacted, I mean, come on. I've seen worse than that in the WWE. I mean, who was the guy that got arrested on the plane going to Europe or coming back from Europe? Not to mention all the stuff Shawn Michaels did, Stone Cold did, or whatever. I mean, so that's the big news right then and there, that Alberto got fired. I think he'll pop back up. So we're going to also talk about Little SummerSlam, which is next Sunday, or is it this Sunday? This Sunday. So we're going to talk about Raw. We're not going to really talk about SmackDown because there's no point in talking about SmackDown. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about it.
Alright, so Raw started off.
Give my cup.
Raw started off.
Watch the thing.
Alright, Raw started off with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar coming out.
Paul had a rap. I actually liked his skills when he dissed John Cena with his rap that he did. I loved it. That was one of my highlights of the night because it was something that I did not expect. And when he did it, I was like, okay, Paulie's pretty good. I liked it. And the fans liked it. So.
Yep. When he said that SummerSlam was the last night you were going to see John Cena, I heard a lot of cheers. Anyway, let's see here. Then.
Well, let's just talk about it. Cena comes out later. And he says, everybody's waiting for me to turn because of the boos. Hey, WWE Universe, I love you guys. When he says, you guys say I can't wrestle, everybody was, you can't wrestle! Which I don't really think he can. When he says Cena sucks, everybody jumped on him. Cena sucks. I was like, WWE Universe, I love you guys! So, but then he tries to play that, again, one of the reasons why I don't like Cena, because he's trying to portray that it doesn't bother him. And
he said he's gonna use heel. He just basically said, okay, it's Sunday,
here's why it doesn't work.
Heel tactics or whatever I gotta do to beat.
But I'm gonna tell you why it's not gonna work. Had he been going up against Bray Wyatt in SummerSlams, which I really do believe that was supposed to have been, or the original thing. Had he been going up against Bray Wyatt, it would work. because Bray Wyatt was on that rise up as a possible, I'm going to call him a Stone Colder, because there's really no name for a guy who's technically a heel, but he's getting face popularity and cheers and stuff like that. So I'm going to call Bray Wyatt a Stone Colder. So it was coming up until that point, so he can actually turn because the fans love Bray Wyatt, not liking him. Perfect time to do it. But nobody likes Brock Lesnar. So it's basically your classic face versus heel all over again. So therefore, it doesn't work for him turning because we don't like Brock. If it was Roman Reigns, it would work with Roman Reigns. If it was Daniel Bryan, it will work with Daniel Bryan. With Brock Lesnar, it doesn't work.
Okay. I mean, technically, they don't want him to be champion, so they're cheering Brock for that. Okay, he's gonna take the championship away from him.
It all depends on the match. If the match goes good, John Cena hits him with the attitude adjustment, hits him with the STFU, hits him with the whatever, 5-knuckle shuffle, which is a dumb move, by the way. Hits him with all his moves, and Brock kicks out. And it seems like everything that John Cena does, Brock kicks out. That could sway people to go on Brock's side. Yes, he kicked out. Yeah. Really cheering for Bray. How they did months ago with Harper. When Harper fought John Cena and Harper kept kicking out and the people were cheering for Harper. So, you don't know which way the tide is going to turn, but a lot of people don't like Brock. Because they just don't like Brock, because the simple fact is, he is a part-timer. But we love Brock when he came back 2 years ago and F5 John Cena at the end of Monday Night Raw. So we love that. I know I loved it. So then we're just going to skip right to the end. We still want to talk about the other stuff. So they had a little thing with Hulk Hogan for his birthday party. I don't know why they still got Hulk Hogan coming out with I'm a Real American. That ain't his music anymore. That's his music from the 80s. They should have came out with his NWO music. Scott Hall them came out with their NWO music, which is pretty cool. But they should have came out with Hogan's music. They should have came out with that. That would have been hot. And here's the thing. Brock comes out. He gets in the face of Hogan. And Hogan is staring at him. Then all of a sudden, here comes John Cena. Again! Here comes John Cena. This is exactly why I can't stand John. Why does Hulk Hogan, I don't care if he's 61, he's in the ring with Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Roddy Piper, Ric Flair. Who else was in there? And Paul Orndorff. Paul Orndorff ain't gonna do nothing because he looked like he was about to fall over. I don't expect Paul Orndorff to do nothing. I don't expect Jimmy Hart to do anything or Mean Gene. But Roddy Piper, he ain't backing down from nobody. Ric Flair, he may get it. He'll go for that cheap shot. Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. Well, maybe not Scott Hall because he still looked kind of sick. But Kevin Nash, he still looks pretty good. He may get hurt after one punch, but still, Hulk Hogan, man, they could have played that he gets in Hogan's face. Hogan like clocks him when Brock goes down, and then all the legends jump on him, beating him down. But then you got Cena got to come down there and run as if he gonna save the day. Again, that's why everybody started booing again, because not because
I heard people cheering.
No, not because Cena was coming to the aid. No, people are tired of John Cena doing that.
Well, okay, you're gonna say, so if it was anybody else running down, anybody, Big Show, Henry, Ryback, Roman Reigns.
If Roman Reigns came down, it would have been a huge pop.
Okay, yes, if it was Roman Reigns, then yes, it would have been cool.
Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, I'll even say Randy Orton. But again, it's Hulk Hogan's birthday. Let Hogan do it. Hogan still got a little bit in the tank.
He says that he's been training intensely so he can have one last match with John Cena.
I hope that match never happens. Somebody wants to see that. Hogan is 61.
That's what I read on Bleacher Report.
So again, if they would have had Hogan hitting and everyone jumped on Brock, that would have been hot. You don't mess with Hulk Hogan, especially not on his birthday. And then if you would have had the WWE Universe come down, like Big Show, Mark Henry, all the guys on the thing, and just blocked away or whatever, I would have been fine with that. But not Cena coming down to the rescue. Nobody wants to see that. That's why they can't stand Cena, because he's like, he has to be the one to run down. I got to be the one. Here I come to save the day. Sit your behind down, man.
How do you know it's actually the people in the back saying Cena go? How do you know he's like, oh, I don't want to go? Well, you gotta go.
Because Cena has control over everything he does. Cena has control over everything he does. And listen to, go on YouTube, and I forgot what they call shoots. This person shoots on that person. I guarantee you, there's Mick Foley said it. I forgot Ed said it. John Cena has control over what he does. When he doesn't want to do the job to anybody, he won't do it. He didn't want to get Roman Reigns. Was it Roman Reigns? Who was it? Who?
Wade Barrett.
He didn't want to. Yeah, Wade Barrett. He didn't want to get Wade Barrett over, and he didn't, because he didn't want to do that. I mean, they used to do that back in the day. Hulk Hogan was one of the bigger guys that did it. Stone Cold was one. The Rock was one. Shawn Michaels was one. Triple H was one. Ric Flair was one. They didn't want to do jobs for certain guys, you know, to get them over or whatever. But
okay, so what's your point? I mean, you're just basically saying all the big names, they didn't want to do it.
But they eventually did. It took like, okay, Stone Cold wanted to face Hogan. They said, no, you big, but The Rock has transcended you, so therefore, we're going to go with The Rock. Stone Cold's still mad to this day that he never got a chance to face Hogan, because he thought everybody wanted to do it. But I'm sorry, the pop that Hogan and Rock had in that ring that night was amazing. It was loud. So they finally win it. I mean, it takes like Vince and Eric Bischoff to finally say, no, this is what we're going to do, and they have no choice but to do it because they're under contract. But they give a lot of trouble in the back as far as what they're going to do and what they're not going to do, and Cena's one of those guys. So again, he wants to run out there and for the glory, and that's why everybody doesn't like John Cena, for that simple fact. We don't need you to come out here and do it. And he feels the need that he has to try to put himself over.
Well, but like they said, those whether there was a bunch of legends or not, they're old. You complain about Undertaker, you know, him moving slow. Mm-hmm. So I mean, whether those legends out undernumber them or not, they're old, so they don't have that same amount of strength. So Brock could easily took on all of them.
He wasn't gonna take on all of them.
Well, he made a Paul Heyman been like, you can get out of the ring.
They did that. I'm trying to think. Not too long ago, a couple years ago. I'm trying to think. Was it Randy Orton? Because I know it was. He was going around beating up old guys, or was it 3MB that was going around challenging old guys, and they would just. So they still got something. A punch in the face. It doesn't require all that. We ain't talking about getting into a match or nothing. All he had to do was hit Hogan, and then everybody jumped on Brock Lesnar. You send Raw off the air with that. Not John Cena running down. Come on, I'm in the yard. I'm in the yard. Come do something. Get out of here. They're not selling even the match. They're not even selling the match right for me.
Well, it's getting a lot of hype. I'm saying that.
From where? You?
Well, for what people say, it's like their tagline is okay. The biggest fight of summer. It's not. For me, okay. For me, it's getting hype. At first, when I saw it, I didn't really care. Okay, we've already seen Cena versus Brock Lesnar. It's not gonna be no different. Brock Lesnar's probably gonna dominate most of the match, and Cena getting a few flurries here and there.
Cena wins in 3 seconds after getting dominated for 50 minutes. All right. So let's go into the matches for Monday Night Raw.
Okay, so then after the whole Brock and Paul Heyman in the beginning, Roman Reigns comes out and Cobra Kane has returned, and he's like, "You're gonna face Ryback in a 2-on-1 handicap match." And Roman Reigns wins by disqualification, and then he takes them both out with 2 Superman punches and a couple of spears. That's about it.
Why in the world? What happened to Ryback? I don't understand. I like Ryback. He obviously made somebody mad. And now he's a mid-carder and a tag team with Curtis Axel.
No!
I think they need to put him back in the face. That's all I got to say about that.
Alright, so then we had the match that we were supposed to have last week, which was Rob Van Dam versus Seth Rollins.
Which is a pretty good match.
Match was okay, it was pretty good. Rollins ended up winning, and then he gets attacked by Dean Ambrose from out of the presence.
When are they going to hook Dean Ambrose up with Roddy Piper? That'll be... Because if... Just YouTube Roddy Piper. Not his matches, but all of his interviews. And you'll see Dean Ambrose is basically imitating the rowdy one, the Hot Rod. That's what he's doing. That he's crazy. So my question is, what are you going to do with Ambrose after this match? Because it's the match that we want to see, him versus Seth Rollins. So what are you going to do after the match? Is he still going to be kind of crazy? What? Because Randy, or is he going to go after Randy Orton now? I have no idea. I mean, him and Alberto would have been a good match to get into a feud, but he's fired now. So we'll see.
Then we had Stephanie McMahon's confession with Dan Bryan's.
That was stupid. Next.
Alright. Then we had Jack Swagger versus Cesaro. Former tag team partners going at it.
Again, a pretty good match. I'm gonna say it was it's a tie for me for the match of the night. Will be Jack Swagger, Cesaro, along with Sheamus and Randy Orton.
Oh yeah, that's good too.
So for me, those two were the matches of the night for me. Again, Jack wins, but no hype whatsoever. No run-ins whatsoever between. They're not doing the match right, and we'll see on SummerSlam. I don't know.
Alright, so then we had the Chris Jericho and Bray Wyatt interview. But it wasn't really an interview, it was just them talking to each other.
I didn't even watch it. I watched probably like the first 30 seconds of it. And Bray Wyatt, I love him. Because, what about, are you sad that you disappointed your father, Chris? the sadness and the disappointment in his eyes. I didn't even watch after that, so it was just like, I don't really want to see it. So I have no comment on it other than the first 30 seconds of it, and I fast forwarded past it because I'm like, I don't want to see what he got to say. Let's get him in the ring.
Alright, so then after that.
And although I still don't like the feud between him and Jericho, and this takes me back to what I said in last week. It's all Daniel Bryan's fault. The WWE had a plan.
I'll tell you what.
They had a plan. Daniel Bryan was supposed to be champion at SummerSlam. He gets hurt. Now we gotta scramble.
Okay.
What do we gotta do? What are we gonna do? Daniel Bryan's hurt. So it was a good idea to have the ladder match for the title. So now we gotta give it back to John Cena. We wasn't gonna give it back to John Cena because we wanted a rematch between Daniel Bryan and John Cena. Maybe possibly at SummerSlam. But because he got hurt, we had to get John Cena the title early. So therefore what that does is now it kind of messes up the feud between John Cena and Bray Wyatt, because Bray Wyatt was on the way up, but now since Daniel Bryan lost it, had to relinquish the title, and John Cena get it, that feud has gone down, and Bray Wyatt's stock has gone down. They're trying to get it the same way with him and Jericho, but it doesn't have the same flavor that it had with him and Cena, because nobody likes Cena. So Jericho was like, we like it, Cliff, but okay, the match is alright, it doesn't have the same flavor. Then you have Roman Reigns. Again, his stock was on the way up, but because Daniel Bryan got hurt, so therefore John Cena is the champion. Now we cannot feud Roman Reigns with a possible John Cena. Now we have to make him go with Randy Orton and his thing with Kane and everything. Now, well, Alberto got fired. So Daniel Bryan just knocked everything way out of whack because of his injury. And I'm not blaming him for getting hurt because it's a part of the business. But all I'm saying is because he got hurt, it threw everything off.
That's okay, like you said, that's a risk you take when you go to it's not like it just happened. That's over years of him wrestling and him using that style.
I understand that, but here's my point is this.
And it finally caught up to him.
Had he not gotten hurt, Extreme Rules would have been pretty good. SummerSlams would have been pretty good. SummerSlam still may be pretty good. Because I don't even know where Brock would have fit in SummerSlam. He might not have fit at all.
I heard it was going to be Bryan versus Brock Lesnar.
That would have been pretty good because they're both grapplers. But, again, he got hurt, so that kind of throws it off. And I see what the WWE is they're trying to do. They're trying to keep Daniel Bryan relevant, which is why they have Stephanie feuding with his wife. So as she does the yes thing to get everybody else to say yes. So hopefully when Daniel Bryan comes back by Survivor Series,
he'll be back by the Royal Rumble.
By Survivor Series or the Royal Rumble, then there'll be the yes will still be kind of like hot or whatsoever.
Okay, I can see where you go with that. Like you said, since Daniel Bryan's not here, there's really no yes chance unless they mention Daniel Bryan. When Daniel Bryan comes back, it's gonna be, the arena's gonna be full of yes chants. They're gonna be like, yes, he's back. He's gonna hopefully get his title shot or whatever. But when he comes back, it'll be a pop, whether if they try to do this or not.
Well, it's gonna be a pop regardless because the Royal Rumble is always the pay-per-view where you have guys from the past that make an appearance that one time. And it's always fun to see who's gonna come out at the Royal Rumble. I like, the years that the Godfather came out. So again, whoever pops out, Daniel Bryan, because even Batista, Batista got booed because they didn't bring Daniel Bryan out. So he's gonna get a pop regardless because it's the Royal Rumble and people are expecting that.
Alright, so then it was supposed to be Stephanie versus Brie on Raw, which I knew wasn't gonna happen, and instead she gets arrested.
Surprisingly, this feud has a lot of people interested. Personally, only because of Stephanie McMahon, and I don't think she's ever wrestled before. I could be wrong, but I don't remember it. Probably because I didn't care. But
she said she hasn't wrestled in over 10 years.
We'll see. But this has some interest. Matter of fact, the whole AJ thing has interest. So we'll see. And it's been a while since anybody has been remotely interested in the women's division. So Stephanie and Brie and AJ and the Paige. So we'll see.
Then we had Dolph Ziggler versus Heath Slater, and the Miz was out on commentary. Dolph Ziggler.
Heath won 2 straight weeks in a row.
Yep.
I don't know where they're going with this. I personally am not a Heath Slater fan. I wasn't really a fan of his when he was in Nexus. I kind of liked him a little bit, the one-man band or the one rocker or whatever, something like that persona. I'm glad he's not with 3MB anymore, but I don't know what they're going to do with it. But, it seems like he's okay. And we'll see. Maybe they're doing it out of sympathy, but he's a low mid-card.
Then we have Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Pretty good match. Match of the night. That mid RKO in the air.
I'm still want the Legend Killer to come back. Bump the Viper. I love the Legend Killer. But I kind of like the feud now with him and Roman Reigns. Because they kind of match up evenly. And if you got guys that can match up evenly, then you're pretty good with it. Oh, shouts out and prayers to The Rock's mother and his sister.
Cousin.
They got into an accident right down the street, about 20 minutes away. So our shout and prayers go out to them for full recovery. Come on, people. Stop drinking and driving, man. Know when to say when. Don't drink and drive. That's it.
Thank you.
Then after that was Hulk Hogan's Celebration, but we already talked about that.
Alright, so what are the matches for SummerSlam? Let's just start with the main event.
Alright, so obviously
Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. Is John Cena going to lose to Brock Lesnar? So far, I have seen no indication that he is going to lose to Brock Lesnar. I don't see him losing. It would be cool for The Undertaker to come out at SummerSlams and help Brock Lesnar win. That would be awesome. If he came out. So I take it back. Would we want to see The Undertaker? If he came out and helped Brock Lesnar win the title over Cena?
Why would he help him? Okay, why would he help him?
Because just like your face is on WrestleMania, that's what we'd be doing if The Undertaker helped Brock Lesnar. Because it would be something that we did not expect.
Well, my opinion, John Cena will probably lose. He'll lose. But the thing is, Brock Lesnar is a part-time. So, would he only show up probably one time?
Plus, he's healed from his injury or whatever type of sickness he has. He's healed from that. So, we shall see.
Oh yeah, he claims when he was fighting John Cena, he was only probably about 50%.
Well, not even that, but no, he actually, he had a serious sickness, which is why he left UFC. So now that I heard that he's been cleared of that sickness, hey, we'll see.
Yeah, my prediction is that John Cena will probably lose, and if he wins, then it will probably because the WWE wants to.
I hope not.
To promote people to buy the WWE Network for only $9.99.
I
so
hope not.
They can keep going. Because right now the WWE Network is not even that big. It's been kind of a disappointment.
Well, it's they just launched it internationally, so that's more money coming from like every country in the world, pretty much. So we'll see how much money they make off of that. But I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't want Cena to win, but I just got the feeling that he will win because that's what they do. Brock will dominate for whatever, and then Cena wins in 3 seconds. Oh, shoulder block, shoulder block, slam. You can't see me. 5-member shuffle. Boom. Ah, the pin. It's over.
Probably a pin because I can't imagine John Cena making Brock Lesnar tap out.
So, I mean, we'll see. I think Cena will win, although I don't want him to win. But I just think that's what he
Like I
would
said,
do.
if he wins, it's just so people will buy the WWE Network so they can see possibly Brock Lesnar, most likely Brock Lesnar winning, or whoever will be the next guy win at the next pay-per-view.
I would like to see Daniel Bryan come back and help Brock Lesnar win.
Okay, another match.
My lava right here.
What was it? The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship.
Weeks after he has made his return, I still don't like the Miz's character. I just don't like it. Please stop talking about your movies because they suck.
He's only been in one movie though, so
he says he's getting recast for the Marine 5 or whatever, or something like that. Oh God! I know he always wanted to be an actor, but please, if it ain't your thing, it ain't your thing. John Cena tried to do it. He tried to be The Rock.
Oh, look, he's making a movie right now.
Who?
Cena.
Probably another sucky one. All his movies suck. They've all sucked. There's only one Rock. Now, if you have a movie where you have like a cameo where you're doing something for not long, but you're not in the whole movie, it's not about you, then okay. Because that's how The Rock got discovered in his little role in the beginning of The Scorpion King. And it's like, oh, this guy's pretty good. Let's give him a shot in the whole movie about himself. It worked out. John Cena had a whole movie about himself, The Marine. I forgot whatever movie he had. They were horrible. 12 rounds. It was horrible.
And then he had that movie Legendary.
Yeah, it was horrible. So, Again, either you got it or you don't. The Rock had it. Stone Cold tried it. He didn't have it. That's why he gets the little parts in movies that fit for his character and his persona. But if you can't, The Miz, this Hollywood thing, it's just not good. I mean, hopefully I'm rooting for Dolph Ziggler. Even though I like The Miz when he won the title, must see WWE or whatever. But after he lost the title, he's just become so irrelevant. Now, whatever. It's like, whatever, Miz, come on. And he's trying to, it's like he's trying to get over so bad where you don't like him. Like he's trying to make you, he's trying to do stuff to make you not like him, but it's not working. Because we don't like him to boo him. We just don't like him and don't care. Pick that ice up and put it in the sink.
Alright, so
I'm rooting for Dolph Ziggler.
Me too.
I hope that he wins. Simple fact that he gets back on track as a champion, and I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world. That's it.
in an interview he had, Michael Cole was like, when do we stop seeing the show off and it's time to, you know, show the world what you really got? And he was like, you know, you're absolutely right. I've been doing this whole show off thing, stealing the show, and you know, that's who I am, but eventually I'm gonna have to deliver. And when the big one, and do something bigger than what I've been doing, so my career.
I personally think that he has. I don't think he got the well-deserved shot that he should have got, like The Miz got. But I think this whole stint when he was with Vicky Guerrero and what he's doing now, give the man a shot and let him see what he can do with the ball.
All right, so another match, of course, is Brie, Stephanie.
Interesting match because we want to see Stephanie wrestle and we want to see her get beat. Just as we wanted to see her get pushed in the mud by Vicky Guerrero. It'd be funny if Vicky Guerrero shows up, but okay.
And then there's AJ and Paige.
AJ and Paige. Again, we like AJ. It's only interesting because she's married to CM Punk. Thanks, Audi. Because she's married to CM Punk, so therefore we get to say CM Punk. Wait a minute. Did they do a CM Punk chant on yesterday?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. That might be the first time on Raw that we didn't get a CM Punk chant. At least I kind of like fast forwarded through it, so I didn't know. I don't know. But that's the only interest in that match. And the match they had was pretty good, but still, we like AJ because of her affiliation with CM Punk. So we're looking forward to that match. Not really me, but you know.
Let's see here. I think that's all. I think that's it.
No, it ain't.
There's no tag team match.
Isn't there a tag team match?
No.
Goldust?
Usos had an open challenge tonight on main event.
Okay, look it up. He sucks, man. Why are you taking so long? What are you pulling up?
Wikis.
Why don't you just talk into Google so Google will pull it up? He has to go to Wikipedia and type it in when he could have just said, what's the SummerSlam card for 2014? And Google would have brought it right up.
SummerSlam 2014.
But I could have swore Goldust and his brother are in the match.
Okay, so John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Oh yeah, Bray Wyatt and Chris Jericho.
I'm not looking forward to this match because again, I haven't had no interest in it because it's just not there. And like I said earlier, Bray Wyatt's stock has gone down since John Cena isn't in the mix, and you know he's getting a lot more boos than he did before because he came out.
That's because everyone liked Chris Jericho.
No, because it's the classic face versus heel, and he's heel, so you don't get that. But you know everybody still turns their camera on at night or whatever. But he came out singing. I think last week or was it on SmackDown? He got the whole world. I didn't hear that many people singing along with him. So that tells me that his stock, and that all goes on to Daniel Bryan's fault. Darn you, Daniel Bryan.
Then we got Jack Swagger.
No. Oh, we forgot about this.
Jack Swagger versus Rusev and their flag match.
That's stupid. Just have a daggone match. But
so the flag match, Rusev ain't gonna get pinned.
I was looking forward to this match 3 months ago. Again, I've said it then and I'm gonna say it now. There's no build up to this match. There's no real feud, or it seems like there's hatred between Rusev and Jack Swagger, because we gotta hear Lana talk and we gotta hear Zed talk. Zed talk. Who, if you look at Zed's mustache and Paul Orndorff's mustache, they must go to the same barber. But there's no build up to this match. So that's your SummerSlam's card.
Wait,
so who?
Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
Oh, yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this match. But as I said earlier, what's going to happen after the fact? After the match is over? What is Dean going to do? Is Seth Rollins going to try to cash in his title after SummerSlam, depending on who wins? If Cena wins...
Here's my opinion. Are you really going to try to cash in your contract on Brock Lesnar? I mean, the dude's going to have to be like really hurt and tired if you're going to cash it in on Brock Lesnar.
There's always plan B. There's always plan B. So again, it all depends on how bad they're hurt. So we will see. It can be an extra. WCW did it probably like 5 years. Well, when they were still in business, there was I'm trying to think, it was a pay-per-view that was supposed to end at 11 o'clock. It actually didn't end till like 11:30. I only know because I was watching Comcast. And millions of people, I worked at Comcast, a million people was calling, like, what happened? The match went off, it's not on. Well, WCW decided to extend it. They didn't tell the pay-per-view company that, and they ended up having to refund a lot of people's money because nobody got to see the main event.
I mean, unless something happened like in 2011 where it was John Cena versus CM Punk, and then CM Punk ends up winning, and then CM Punk got attacked by Kevin Nash. So unless someone comes out and attacks Brock Lesnar, which probably wouldn't happen, then Seth Rollins can do it. Or if it happened, most likely what happened to Cena if he won, because Triple H is like, Cena's not walking out with time.
I was looking forward to seeing that match, but we know Kevin Nash, every time he raises a hand, he gets hurt or something like that. He walks and he pulls the ACL, so he's just OI, often injured. So, but look at the guys that are not in this pay-per-view. Goldust, Cody Rhodes.
I mean, they still
Ryback. I don't care about Cody, Curtis Axel. Who else is not in the match? I was gonna say Del Rio. Del Rio never had a match before he got fired, so I'm gonna include him. Del Rio. The Usos are not.
They can still have one, but they ain't got no feud going into it.
Harper and Rowan.
They got banned from ringside.
Or not in the match. So there's a lot of good wrestlers out there that's not. Even Dumb Lee is not in the match.
Yeah, believe.
And I was figuring, you know what, they may have that as a pre-match. Him and R-Truth. So he's not even in it, and which I really don't care. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of guys out there that, here's my fear. Which is why I said it's bad to unify the titles. Because guys like I just named, Goldust, Cody Rhodes, Ryback, Harper, Rowan, all these guys, we don't know what to do with it because all of our focus is only on the main event. So because it's the main event and the top mid-cards, everybody else, we don't really know what to do with them. So therefore, nothing happens. Whereas before, you look forward to it because you had the WWE titles going to get defended. You had the World Champion titles defended.
Sometimes the World Heavyweight Championship match was better than the WWE Championship.
Yeah. A lot of times SmackDown was better than Raw. Because, you know, JBL, we like to fight.
I guess we can do SmackDown real quick. Because other than the other match being Roman Reigns and Randy Orton, which originally was supposed to be Roman Reigns and Triple H, but you know, stuff just didn't work out. And it ended up being Roman Reigns and Randy Orton.
Okay. So, that's it, I guess, for, I'm trying to think, we covered
everything for SummerSlam.
Yeah. We even talked a little TNA. No Sting update. as far as him coming into the WWE or anything like that.
He'll be there this weekend at the SummerSlam Fest or whatever it is.
Again, I would have loved to see, like I said, have what Hulk Hogan should have done but didn't do. So, but it's all good. But, you know, that's it. Elijah's here. You want to say hi?
Hi.
You want to say hi now? Okay. My daughter wants to say hi. This is my skelepakorskin. Say Rusev Crush. Say it.
Yes.
Say Rusev.
Hi.
Say Rusev.
No.
Say it.
No.
Rusev Crush.
No.
Rusev.
Hi. Bye.
Alright, so for Stephen J.
You gonna do SmackDown first?
I thought you just did.
No, I did.
Huh?
I didn't do SmackDown.
You said the only thing that happened was, you know, Roman Reigns was supposed to face Triple H.
No, I was talking about SummerSlam.
Okay.
Well, I guess the only real major thing was that the Big Show returned to action.
Did he? Who he fought?
Him and Mark Henry were the tag team.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Well, they tried that before. Again, Daniel Bryan got hurt and that threw everything out of whack. So Daniel Bryan's fault. But I did read that they're gonna be a tag team. Again, the Usos are the top tag team. I love them. I love the Harper, the White family. I don't know about. Didn't they get a name yet?
Who?
Stardust and Goldust.
No.
I could have sworn they called them Galaxy Stars or something like that. Something stupid. It had some dustation or whatever in it. But I just don't know about them. We need some young tag teams like the back in the day with the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty's, or the Midnight Express or the Rock and Roll Express, or the Hardy Boys. We need a tag team like that to come back, to come into play.
We could be seeing the return of Jeff Hardy and Jeff Hardy and Kurt Angle soon, because I did read Jeff Hardy said he would like to end his wrestling career in the WWE, and Kurt Angle did turn down a contract again from TNA, and his contract up in like September, and he was like, so that leads to the conclusion. He said that his last contract would probably be his last. So it leads to the conclusion that he might be coming back to WWE.
I would love to see Kurt Angle come back to WWE. It's true. It's true. I think he's been missed. But, you know, the company goes on, you know. And I saw somewhere today, could John Cena, they had the top 10 wrestlers of today that could not make it in the Attitude Era. And I got to say, the Attitude Era was the attitude of all. We long for those days again of the Attitude Era, so I picked that up. But John Cena was like, I think they had him ranked 10th because you know, against Stone Cold and The Rock or whatever back in those days. There's no they said John Cena would have been a mid-carder, and I believe that. I didn't go through the list to see who was number 1, but John Cena definitely would have been a mid-carder. I put it like this, and I'm gonna say this. If Triple H didn't hook up with Stephanie, he wouldn't have been a 13-time champion. There it is. Because when Shawn Michaels lost the title and Triple H took over the title when he was running DX, Triple H didn't have no pop when it was just like, what? Shawn Michaels is gone now and whatever. It's like, really? Who cares? He didn't have anything with it. So to me, it was just like, all right, whatever. But if he didn't hook up with the boss's daughter, he would not be in the position that he is. Not only as CEO of the company, but as a 13-time champion. Or was he 12-time? 13-time. So that's all I gotta say. But John Cena would not have made it in. He would have been a mid-carder. He would have been he wouldn't have been a Marty Jannetty. But who's a mid-carder from the Attitude Era? Technically, Mark Henry was a part of the Attitude Era. He was in that era. I can't think of who was a mid-carder back in that era, but
Was Kane a mid-carder? I mean,
Kane technically was a mid-carder. He had some good main events, but Ryback would have been a beginner match because, again, put Ryback back as a face. That's all I gotta say. So for Stephen J. and for Simply Steve, we done talking about wrestling, and we out. Peace.